Welcome to OverSeasoned.
It's only going to take one take.
I actually kicked him out of the restaurant.
Why?
Gotta bitch to someone.
Gotta bitch to somebody, and I'm good to bitch to.
I thought you were from Spain.
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Sí soy.
Gotcha.
Soy chorizo.
Oh, no.
You've gone into Martha Stewart land.
It's good. It's just not live.
Whatever.
Okay.
It's like a scene from Cocoon. Like the sun goes down.
You don't want to get blacklisted.
You know what, Mr. President? Is this what you want?
Well, welcome back to Overseasoned. It's the post-Thanksgiving episode. We had to do it remotely this time. So Xavier is in, I'm sorry, Xavi, X, one of those names, one of those locales, is in Florida right now. It looks beautiful there. Where are you
It's
at?
a beautiful day here in Florida. We're 65 degrees. Got a little sun. I'm here at
Perfect.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm very thankful to be here at Shea Lydia, enjoying, as you can see, the nice little pool action. Oh, hey, camera. And we have some plants too.
Nice. I'm in
Some
freezing
plants.
cold New York, but it's nice we could get together and do this. After Thanksgiving, I feel like you had a very involved Thanksgiving, although we didn't talk about it. I haven't spoke to you in a few days. So I was wondering if you were just coming out of that or what? How did your Thanksgiving go?
I had a great Thanksgiving. Thank you for asking, Tony. I feel
welcome.
like I took a little sheet out of the organized chef world. I made a prep list. I did all of my shopping way ahead of time. I really took seriously that I wanted to enjoy Thanksgiving.
The
Maybe
whole
for
thing,
the
the
first-
cooking, the shopping without rushing around, right? That kind of enjoyment.
I wanted to stop being in this mode of running, rushing through the entire day just to get to a point where everybody's eating, and
Mhm.
then by the time you get to sit down, it's time to clean.
Mhm.
That whole thing, I was just I wanted to get out of
You want to
party
enjoy the
mode.
food parts too, because I'm with you. You end up, even when I'm just cooking dinner on a regular weekday, I'm ready to just go sit in the closet and have a beer or something. I'm not ready to sit down and just enjoy the food. I need a little bit of a separation, a little minute between putting it on a plate for everyone else
This is how you know that you're missing a walk-in fridge in your life.
I just want a
when-
quart container and a sink. Spoon it
Yeah.
right in my mouth, right over that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a chance. Not I got a chance. I made the time to put together an organized list, and honestly, from cleaning to prepping out the foods and understanding what my day looked like, this was the first time I've had a turkey out of the oven by it was out of the oven at 2:00.
Mm.
And what that ensures, number one is of course the proper resting, and number two, it ensured that there were 2 full meals to be had. Because when you eat too late, when you become a Spaniard and you're eating your turkey at 8:00, it's really hard to go for round 2. So
That's a really good point.
yes,
Dinner, whatever you want to call it, on Thanksgiving at 3 lets you have it again at 8.
I used to always wonder why so many of my American friends had this system down of 2:00 Thanksgiving meals. It makes all the sense in the world. And I want to, besides the fact that some of the most celebrated minds in longevity and in metabolism say that your first meal should happen at 2 and your only meal should happen at 2. It also just makes all the sense in the world when you're trying to be a glutton and you're trying to enjoy
Pack in as much as
full
possible.
breath. Yes.
Right.
And
Because you wouldn't eat breakfast usually on Thanksgiving. I think people kind of try to wait for dinner in a way.
My mom had me make her some fried eggs because she got a little crazy on the Gruner Veltliner the night before. And she wanted me to make her some fried eggs. I'm like, you sure? Food's going to be ready in a couple hours. She said, no, I need a little something. I hooked her up with a little fried egg with the basted in the oven, all crispy on the edges with the mulled on salt over top. And it kind of ruined her appetite. But all she needed was to see the feast laid out. And then, of
Right.
course, hunger activated, of course. But
That's
yeah,
good.
so dude, I had a really fun time making Thanksgiving this year. Part of which was I got to explore brand new stores I'd never been to. I
The
got a
turducken
chance.
store?
Oh, yes. So we have a whole list of shit that we need to get through. But let me start with the turkey purchase, right? So the turkey purchase, I feel like getting there early, it solves for a lot of things, right? First off, of course, want to make sure that we're getting the smallest turk, right? That's in the bin of turks.
Because you
There's
only
like,
have 3 people for dinner.
well, what it looks like is you're trying to spread disease, but in reality, all you're doing is trying to find that perfect turkey who's smallest in size. So that was my move, right? First, walk into supermarket, and in this case, I got my turkey at Whole Foods, and they had one of those. There's a farm they work with called Bell's, not Bell and Evans, but I want to say like Belle Point, like it's a French name, and they do these heritage chickens,
Fancy.
and they happen to have these heritage turkeys. So I got myself a turkey that was 14 pounds, and it looked like I do this with everything, so I can only imagine that it was normal to an onlooker who would know who I was, which was look at every single fucking one before you choose the perfect
I know.
pint of.
It's annoying. It's annoying.
It is, but in this case, you
Just
have
get a
to,
turkey.
right?
You don't.
No, well, dude, there's 3 of us eating Thanksgiving, so I want to find the smallest turkey, and I also,
I mean, within what? Within how many grams are we talking? Like you found the one. What was the one you got?
it was like 13.5.
What?
How big was your turkey that you made? Do you remember?
26, I think.
20. So I got a turkey
Yeah.
half the size of yours.
Yeah.
It's the one time during an observed American holiday that I actually am looking for the smallest of something,
Yeah.
So I found my turkey, 13-pounder, and it was this beautiful heritage turkey. And then I started doing all other kinds of shopping. I went to, for the first time, a local Florida. It looks like it's like a southeast chain called Detweiler's, and they are, I guess, like an Amish owned, which seems. I've never quite understood the crossroads of modern society and Amish business, but that's for a different episode. So,
Mhm.
you get they have like a website and shit. I'm like, how does this work? How is this allowed? Like, isn't this against the entire fucking system? Like, isn't this why you anyway? So they're like, hey, are you a part of our rewards network? I'm like, no, I'm not a part of your. They're like, you have to sign on online, and then you can become a part of our rewards network. I'm like, you're Amish. You're Amish. You can't sign me up right here on like a piece of paper so I can get the 10% off the turkey anyway. So I found a beautiful turkey, and I bought all this butter and all the stuff that I feel like an Amish person would be good at is what I bought at the Amish.
You said it was a huge store. You called me from there.
was-
It was just massive.
dude.
You couldn't even. It was like busy and crazy, and it was sounded like a Costco in
Yes,
stature.
I have pictures to prove this. It was like if Costco had a baby with like your local farmer stand, because the setup is all very like let's call it like rural US, right? So for example, if you're gonna get corn, they have like corn wagons set up in the store. They
You just like
have,
wheel them right in. They don't take them off the truck. They just take the wagons right off the fields, and roll them into the store.
I mean, I think that's yes, and I
With
think that
camels?
yes, with camels, exactly.
I don't know what
So
happens down in
yeah,
Florida.
well, so dude, what inspired this part of this trip was the fact that my mom has been begging me to get her raw milk. Supposedly it has some health benefits that she's after. And she always reminisces on her times as a child, younger, when she was growing up in Puerto Rico, and always wanted to have raw milk. Like, she loves how it separates, and she feels like, and I'm like, actually never even had raw milk. So I bought milk, I bought butter, I bought buttermilk, I bought all kinds of stuff,
All the dairies.
all the dairy stuff. I feel like, if you're going for what an Amish is good at, it's that and not paying taxes, right? So I decided that I would dive in. I also found bread, right? They had the least amount of ingredients on like their bread. It was just like,
Oh, I'm interested. How did this go with your
well, because
intolerance?
yeah. So look, I'm good. There's only like a little something here. Glad the camera can follow me around. But I went after it. I made some fantastic stuffing, which I also want to get into. So yes, I was able to find the least processed bread, chop that up, and then use that in some stuffing. So yes, it was a fruitful and organized. I even made a prep list.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I wanted to get ahead of it. I feel like the biggest pain in the ass for me, since I'm not a back of house seasoned guy, is one, timing, of course, as with any good crescendo and meal that comes together. And also, I wanted to make sure that I was ready to go. Day of cooking,
There's
I wanted
two
to
other
make
people
sure.
coming to Just
Oh,
two other
yeah.
people coming to
Yeah.
And you've got this thing laid out like it's storming the beaches of Normandy.
That's essentially what it was. All right. So let me start from the beginning. So brining a turkey, right? Everybody always talks about brining a turkey. Brining a turkey. What's the best way to have a great Thanksgiving and ensure that your entire life from that moment on is the best life it can be? Brine your turkey, right? Okay.
I think deep frying is the new brining, but we'll get into that.
But yeah, well, don't you need to brine before you deep fry?
Could be.
Whatever, right? So I brined a turkey. So step one, buy the right turkey. I found the right turkey, right? Step two, brine your turkey. So when I was going through this turkey brining situation, I don't have a lot of fridge space. I don't
know.
have.
You were telling me about this. I'm like, just put it out in the garage, forgetting that you're in Florida.
Yes.
Like, hopefully the raccoons don't get it.
So I will say a friend, Ryan, did give me an excellent trick to use in the future, but I ended up having to go to the store and I found, those like plastic bags that they'll say that you should cook your turkey in. It's weird, right? But it was the only disposable bag appropriately sized for a turkey that I could find. I would never cook anything in plastic unless I was going 3 Michelin star level, and then everything's out the window, and then you're allowed to cook everything in a bag so that you have absolutely no human influence on the food. But in this case, I decided, all right, let me get a bag. They have those Reynolds bags that you put your turkey in. And then, so I made a brine, and I had a lot of fun researching the brine. So I did all the aromatics or whatever you want to put in, of course. You put seasonings in there. So essentially what it turned out to be was about a cup of sugar to every gallon of water, right?
Salt too?
I'm sorry. No, sorry. Cup of salt for every gallon of water. Yes, that's the whole point of the brine, right? I didn't do any sugar. So I got my salt and I got my water, and I decided, let's complicate things, right? No reason to keep things, nice and easy. Let's complicate.
Got to impress these other two people showing up for Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes. And you're not really cooking unless you fuck with the recipe, right? You might as well just have AI do it if you're just going to do it exactly as the recipe says. So in this case, I'm rebelling, right? The Luddite that I am, rebelling against whatever's been tested 500 times and gotten 5-star reviews.
Here's what to do. I'll do something different.
Correct, right? So I thought, you know what? What if I were to replace some of the salt
soy sauce
with almost Next one. What's your next guess?
A1 sauce.
It was you this time, not me.
I don't know. What else? Something salty.
Lee and
So, yeah.
Perrin's Worcestershire sauce.
You what?
That's the one that's crazy to you?
How
Yeah.
much did you use?
Quarter cup.
Okay.
Why? It just felt right. Right? I just, like it was in there. It was in the fridge. It was looking at me. It was saying, you haven't held me in a while. And I said, I will hold you now.
Gosh.
Right? Okay, here's other things I did. White peppercorn, black peppercorn, a bunch of dried sage.
None of that's going to make any difference. White and black peppercorn.
Yeah, but you know what? Guess what? Not only
What?
did I get those things, but I toasted them off.
God.
And one of the cups of water, I made a tea out of these things. Right?
Sure. I could see
right?
that.
Because in that way, you're ensuring that all
Did you
the
eat the
spices-
turkey when you were eating the leftover turkey? You're like, I got to notch down that white peppercorn. I just got to take it down by like a teaspoon.
Yeah.
Got to get that balance of white and black peppercorn correct on the next one.
Who invited a Chinese chef in here? It just everything tastes like hot and sour soup. What the fuck?
That's what you were looking for.
Yeah. No, but could I taste it? Would have to have a second backup turkey to compare, right? To really know.
Okay.
Half an orange. Why? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
A lemon split in half. And a
in the
clove in the brine.
Okay.
And a whole head of garlic cut in half. Right.
I just got a brine. Where I got the turkey, there was this. They were also selling jars of the dry brine mix. You just mix it with a gallon of water, and
is that what you used?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the ratio? 1 cup to 1 gallon?
It was whatever was in the mix to a gallon of water.
Understood. How much was that?
How much did it cost?
Yeah. Do you remember?
I don't even look at these farm stands. It could have been $25. It might have been $8. I don't know.
It probably was. So, well, anyway, I'm glad that you were supporting your local economy. I wanted to do everything I could to complicate it, right? So it's not yours unless it's complicated. So anyway, I took my Worcestershire lemon garlic spiced brine. And now it's time to actually put the bird inside that, right? That's a problem. That's a big problem. Problem number 1 is the shelves in this refrigerator that's over here in my mom's house are not built for anything except for cans of Coke. Why? Right. I don't know. And then I already went shopping, right? I was a good boy and decided I was going to be proactive. So I had buttermilk. I had fucking 100 different herbs, a whole pantry, which... Tony, like a whole fucking drawer. If you'd like, I can send you more herbs, right? I certainly should take one lesson from this extravaganza, which is what my pars are, right? Because I still have enough left over for you and maybe the Philippines office. Like I have so much fucking food.
I think that's normal. Okay. We had a lot of stuffing left.
Well, so I got these Reynolds bags. And my thought was, all right, I'm just going to, since I don't have the space, I'm going to put the turk inside the bag, and then I will pour the brine into the bag, right?
But like standing straight up?
Well, I put the turkey in the Reynolds bag looking at me, right? Like I would
just
put
like
it in the oven.
Be roasted.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Which was a mistake.
That's a lot of brine you need.
It was a lot of brine. It was a gallon. It was a gallon of brine.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it in. Turkey was, in the bag, and then I pour all the brine in. And then the next part is you have to do the tie. So essentially I was making like a water sausage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time I got it all tied up, I'm not a physicist. I don't know if anybody knew that. I'm not a physicist. But the thing is once you tie that motherfucker and then it rests, all the water comes down, right? So essentially, I had a beautiful heritage turkey that was like brining its back, right? The one part of the turkey that doesn't even fucking matter. Its legs were popped out, no brine on it. Its breast was
Why didn't
popped
you just
out.
flip it over?
I did. That's exactly what, step 2, right? Of like a primate trying to figure out how to brine a turkey. Flip it now, right? Because I want the breast to be submerged. It's the only part I care about being submerged is the breast. I flip it. What happens? So I didn't know if you knew this, Tone, but I'm here to let the entire world know. Heritage turkeys have a fucking tail feather. Not just a tail feather, but a sharp one. It looked like
Oh, like the Pope's nose.
yes. So the turkey butt has this fucking like sharp ass feather. It like I could have written out the Declaration of Independence with this plume. It was so sharp. So I'm like, oh well, I made a mistake here. I'd like to have the breasts be the flesh that's in the brine. Flip it, boop. The whole thing starts like shooting out brine because the Pope's nose decided that it wanted to be free. So now I have a plastic bag turkey that's like it's a wild mess, right? So then I'm like, oh, I have one
I
more
think
other
the
bag.
turkey gods were mad at the Worcestershire sauce in your brine.
Yeah, but you know what? That's like a British. I mean, maybe that's why. Maybe it's because it's British fish sauce, and I shouldn't have added it, right? If I would have
Mm-hmm.
stuck with all American things, I don't know why. Lean parents, the Mayflower, it all made sense to me in this moment. So then I take the bag and I'm gonna put it in the other bag, but I have to be careful now because now I'm starting to realize that this turkey has sharp, much sharper, like tail feathers and bones than a
Mm-hmm.
normal commercial
It's
turkey.
edgier. It's a little
Yes,
angular.
it's punk, right? It's a Joy Division turkey. So then I put the already submerged bagged turkey and put it into the only other bag I had, right? With the idea that now it's got double layer protection. It's double bagged, right? And I slowly take that bag and then put that into like a roasting tray, right? So that if there is any remnant, brine that escapes the bags, then at least there's like so anyway, okay. So then I'm like, all right, let me attack my prep list. I'm cutting leeks. I'm cutting tons of onions. The onions this year are angry. Did you notice that? My Spanish onions, like I did the first little slit and just intense.
I think you're getting a new appreciation for the kitchen component of the restaurant through all these trials and tribulations. You're like, whoa, these guys, I understand now. Well, I can't saunter back here in my suit, swilling a glass of wine, wondering why
Let's get
family
this
meal's
food
not
out.
up yet.
I need the table. I need this table out. Anyway, yeah, no. I've always said appreciation. It's just it goes to show you it's not just about the planning. It's not just about the prep. It's not about your list. It's also about what you're working with.
It's coming from a culinary background, you're always put in these situations, whereas, well, you worked in the kitchen, you can just make anything happen with this, piece of aluminum foil and a matchstick that I give you. If you're at someone's house or something, or if someone else chooses to do the shopping or something, you're like, no, but I want to help. Nope, I got it. You're going to come back
Yeah.
with something that just has some slight variation that doesn't really work for what you need it to work, and you're
Yeah.
always, man, cooking is, if you have all of your routine right, the food itself can be, it's easy to move along that kind of process, right? But if you're seeing that, one wonky refrigerator shelf can ruin your whole day.
Well, dude, and then it takes me back to the fucking wildly inappropriate restaurant owners that you'd be like, hey, we can't make French fries because handmade fries because the thing always pops out. They're like, we're gonna remove this wall. We're gonna put up a fucking gondola here, Then we're gonna change where the fryer is, and then I need a post, guys. Get an architect out because of French fries. And now I'm understanding, because if I'm gonna properly do this next year, I need to blow out a couple walls. I need a brand new fridge. I mean, it's devastating how.
Or you could have just prepped for 3 people instead of 30.
Listen, look, all right.
You could have just got like a half a turkey.
If I didn't take this holiday seriously,
you were trying to prove something to yourself.
I just would have ordered. Right?
All or nothing.
But I take this seriously, right? You're lucky I didn't make my own Worcestershire sauce to really kick this thing off right. But anyway, so the turkey's now in a bag, right? And I'm chopping veggies, and I'm chopping leeks, and I'm chopping onions, and I'm chopping celery and carrots, which also two 5-pound bags of that, way overboard. Way overboard.
2 5-pound bags of oh my God.
You
need like 2 carrots and an onion, some leftover celery from something else.
Yeah. So, but you know what?
Was everyone happy? Did you hide this all from, they didn't know, right?
They had no idea.
They don't know what you go through. This is why you're ready to just eat out of a quart container over the sink when it's all said and done. You just have to lick your wounds and think how you're going to do it different the next day.
And another thing I've never quite appreciated about y'all kitchen folk, when you're tasting shit all day, like by the time it's time to eat it, you're like,
Yeah. Well, give me some pizza.
How many times do I have to taste the gravy to make sure the salt Now I'm like pouring it on. I'm like, I don't even want this. I've tasted this gravy 18 times. Anyway, so you get through all the chopping. I'm ahead of time. I'm doing mushrooms. I'm doing haricot vert. Of course, the bag of haricot vert that I got still has all the tips on it. Yeah, let's add another fucking list to the item, to the things I got to do, right? Then the fucking mushrooms, you're popping the things off the button mushroom. Real dirty this year. Don't know who was on that shift. They were real dirty. Like, usually you can just pop them off and then you're good, right? Today, this time, it's like some dude was fucking pouring topping, like topsoil into the fucking things. And I'm just like,
gotta bump up that weight.
I guess so. Somebody needs a raise, because Poppy wasn't happy packing those mushrooms, right? So now I'm extra, right? More cleaning. By the way, I forgot that I had maitake mushrooms. They're still in there. Maybe I'll make them tonight. So, mushrooms. We got our green beans.
Maitake mushrooms too?
I love maitake mushrooms.
I do too.
They're coming with me, right? It's like they deserve their time too. So anyway, so I got all this stuff. I got my what else did I make? Mashed potatoes, of course. I had an existential crisis at this place because they had small yellow, they had small Yukons, large Yukons. They had medium-sized Yukons. They had russets. They had red bliss. They had new. There was like 18 different kinds of potatoes in this place. And I'm like,
your mind's just going crazy trying to figure out what to do.
Bro, and like I was gonna call you, and then I'm like, then I look it up. I asked Google, should I go with my instinct tells me a Yukon Gold is the way to go.
Sure.
But then Google is like, have you ever heard of a Kennebec potato? And I'm like, what is? Yes, I've heard of it, but like, that's the first article I get. Some fucking, you know what I mean?
Oh, you Googled Yukon Golds and it said
Kennebec potatoes. Yeah. I searched best potato for mashed potatoes, right? And some writer who couldn't get a job in liberal arts faculty decided that they're going to write a big article about Kennebec potatoes. I'm like, fuck this. Give me the cheapest Yukon Gold that there is. So I got the Yukon Gold. Great. Which also was a debacle. It was a debacle. Mashed potatoes are such a pain in the ass. Now, not to a seasoned pro. Okay.
It is
But-
funny how the simplest things become the most difficult because any variable can kind of throw you off. Too starchy, to whatever, so
Well,
sugar content and such.
So I've got a brining turkey that's slowly losing all of its juice, right? I open up the fridge, I look in, and now the roasting tin that I have the turkey in is slowly starting the bag the bag is slowly letting liquid out, and then the turkey is slowly pushing all this liquid out of the tin. So I had to go, it's 10:15 now. I asked Mr. Google, is there a fucking store in Florida? Is there anything? Let's start with, is there a business that operates after 9 p.m. in Sarasota, Florida? Right? Walmart. Walmart's 15 minutes away. They close at 11. I dart down the street to Walmart because I know that the first tin that I got with the turkey in it it's not going to hold. It's holding on to its, I had to flip the edges up of the tin so that it would hold the liquid in. And anyway, so I get to Walmart and they do have much larger, turkey roasters. So I got one of those, did the transfer, which by itself was a complete fucking debacle because liquids and all that stuff. So here we are. I've chopped all my leeks and mirepoix and all that stuff. And then I go to put all the stuff away. I'm ahead. I feel good. Shallots chopped. Those are going into haricot vert, which are already cleaned up. I got my mushrooms cleaned. I've got my cranberries. I've got everything, right? Oh, and the stuffing, right? So toast off the bread, have that ready to go. And then lastly, you're going into all the stuff that goes into stuffing, which is tons of sage. I like a ton of sage in there. And then I thankfully I thought ahead to buy chicken stock. I had people said, why don't you buy turkey stock? And I'm like, because chicken stock is, I think, more delicious in my opinion.
It's the same thing.
You think so?
I mean, I know that there's a little bit of a flavor. I don't think you're going to be able to pick it out of the stuffing. Whether you use turkey stuffing, I was able to purchase turkey stuffing because I bought the turkey from a farm that's raising turkeys. So that wasn't like a boxed turkey stock, but I don't think you're going to notice a difference in the stuffing between use a good stock, right? Chicken or turkey or whatever.
Yeah. Got it. Well, all the stuff turned out delicious. Let's start there, right? But day 2, I wake up early. I get the oven going. First things first, get the turkey going, right? And my list was saute off haricot vert. They were already blanched too. You would have been very proud of me. Yep.
Wow.
Already blanched. So I had to roast mushrooms. I had to make mashed potatoes. This is day of stuff, right? After the turkey was in. Make mashed potatoes. I wanted to make gravy, of course.
What
Can't
time
have
did you
a
start
Thanksgiving
in the
without
morning?
Gravy. 10:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Turkey was done.
That's nice and comfortable. Make your mom
Yeah.
some eggs, slowly start. You got 4 hours to go or something.
Yeah, exactly. No, timing, everything was good. But a couple wrinkles that I wasn't prepared for that could have derailed the entire experience, could have ruined Thanksgiving. First, I always remember watching the guys. When I say the guys, the back of house guys and gals and teams would always warm the cream and milk to make mashed potatoes with. Okay. And then add cold butter at the end. Right. And then mash that puree up into bliss. So I put the raw milk in a thing, right? In a pot on the.
Oh, does it separate?
Yeah, it's separated. Not only did it separate, Tony, as I was warming it up, it fucking exploded. Why? I don't know. But at some point, the milk decided, you know what? Let's get out of here. And it went from in the pot to like overflowing. And you know what? If you think like cleaning up like anything is bad, just wait till you have like raw milk,
Scorched milk on the
Scorched.
stove.
Oh my gosh. So that tried to derail, but no. Thankfully, I put 4 times more milk than I needed in the pot, which means I still had leftover milk when I went to make the mashed potatoes, which was great. All right, the other thing. I fell in love with the idea of toasting pecans to put over top of the haricot vert. Anytime I put them on the lowest heat possible to just get a little waft of toastiness on them, something would happen. Something.
You
My
get
mom
pulled
would-
away? You mean you weren't watching? Yeah,
Yes.
so you weren't watching them. Yeah.
Hey, look at this new plant I got. Cool. Come outside. Oh my God. I forgot about the fucking pecans. Go inside. Toasted black. Right? Next round.
Once they start to go, they go quickly because there's so much oil in
Well,
them.
on the third attempt to toast the pecans, it worked. But I had
This
to
is
stay
why you
there.
had to buy so much because you needed 2 or 3 attempts just in case.
Right.
Backup.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, so then
It's exhausting, by the way.
I'm exhausted.
I'm exhausted
even
for you.
Thinking about.
Hopefully, we got a nap. You took a nap after dinner, and that's where you wake up and have it all over again.
Yeah. Well, so thankfully, it worked. Turkey was juicy and moist and wonderful. The mashed potatoes were creamy and a little sweetness from that. That was fantastic. The gravy turned out fantastic, although it was a touch salty once I had cooked down the brew and added all the liquid, and it was a touch salty. So I just added I added a little stock, like some out of the, you know what I mean, like the organic stock. I added it right
It was
in.
salty, so you added what?
I just thinned it out with some stock, with some chicken stock.
But just like a
Yeah, because it was super reduced
not
down
concentrate.
stock. Correct. No, I popped open one of the
That's cool.
store
What's wrong
bought
with that?
stocks. Yeah, nothing. I was very proud of myself.
Why are you being all secretive about it? Why is it a
Well, because I went through the painstaking effort of buying like a bone broth, chicken bone broth, and all this stuff to make this beautiful gravy, and then at the end I adulterated it with store bought stock. But whatever, still made by my hands. The cranberry relish was fantastic. I mentioned to you before. I threw a little ginger and some cinnamon stick in there to give it a whisper of je ne sais quoi, a little something, right? The mushrooms were delicious, super like savory, and so did it turn out to be fantastic? Yes. But it's too much. It's too much. I'm the first to admit how much effort I put in.
So you've learned
And
a
I
lot.
forgot the most important thing.
What?
I forgot the most important thing. All right, I'm afraid to not touch anything, but I'll go because we're up on our time, and I want to give me 1 second. I shall be right back. Right back. Do a little song. Do.
What's it? What is he singing? Where did he go? Go for a swim?
Yeah.
He's back.
So, listeners and devout fans of the OverSeasoned show will know that on the last Thanksgiving episode, we talked about a formidable giant, the Franken turkey. I forgot.
A turducken. Oh, beautiful.
Look at
So
this thing.
weird.
What do you see, Tony?
That looks amazing.
Well, so as you can see, you got probably some overcooked chicken breast. It looks cool. You got your turkey.
It doesn't necessarily look appetizing, but it looks cool.
It looks very cool. You were saying it's like a culinary Horshack test, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it looks like. I don't know what I see though. I see a kind of a. You told me you saw a whale, and then that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like two eyes down there looks like kind of a
Yeah.
like that, some kind of skinless whale.
A skinless
So you haven't had
whale.
it yet. So that's fantastic.
Well, and it's cryovac. It was packed on the 26th.
Are
So
you going to be ready for some turkey soon to bust into that? Are you going to bring it to me, or we're going to have it together?
I mean, don't you dare tempt me.
What do you
to
think
do
you
that.
pack that in your luggage? Somebody pulls it out. What are they going to say?
I mean, it looks like it has a vertebrate. I mean, I'll just say that I'm like an anthropologist or something. If they
There
stop
you go.
me in Colombia, I'll say that I work for the university, and
Don't
this
bring
is
that to Columbia.
this is a study of American anthropology right here. There you go. I know Johan wants some, so I'll bring some for him. But anyway, it was a fantastic Thanksgiving. Thanks for letting me vent and post
No,
turkey.
the question I wanted to ask after all this, you've obviously worked out a lot of kinks. You know what to do next time, right? Should you choose to do this next time, you know what to look out for. You've got
Yeah.
your shopping all down. Your scheduling was already impeccable. What would you do differently next year? What will you do differently next year? Go to Chinese food?
Okay, so there's something so gratifying, of course, about having gravy and stuff. All that stuff is so good. It's
Mhm.
the one time of the year I feel
When
like
you're
where,
American.
yeah, and 4th of July,
Sure.
and when the Eagles are in the Super Bowl.
Gotcha.
And, there's a few things.
Yeah.
I think what I would do less or do differently, Tone, is all this effort. And I love my mom. I love
But
it's just so much effort for. Dude, we literally had our first round of Thanksgiving at like 3:00. And dude, I sliced this beautiful breast down. I'll send you some pictures. Slice a beautiful breast down. I got the stuffing out, the mashed potatoes out, the gravy, green beans, all this stuff. And bro, it looked like we didn't even touch it.
I
It
know.
looked like we didn't even touch it. And I was like, we're all stuffed. Like we
I
couldn't
know.
think
So
about
I had
round two.
I told you we had way too much stuffing, and I posed a question to the crowd at like the day before. I'm like, do you want to have mashed potatoes or sweet potatoes? Because I'm not doing both, right? Because it just
Yeah,
becomes too much,
It's too much. Yeah.
right? So they decided that they wanted both. I'm like, okay. So I ended up making sweet potatoes with some bacon and coffee maple syrup, and then I did like
That post you made was beautiful.
oh yeah, I sent that around, yeah. And then I did the call wasn't for mashed potatoes, oddly enough, but it was for like a scalloped potato that I cooked with bacon fat and onions and some thyme. You know?
So you said to them, you have your choice of sweet potatoes or mashed potatoes, and they just said, "Fuck you. We want
Yeah.
a different kind of potato, and we still want sweet potato."
And the lesson from this is just don't ask.
Well,
Just
correct.
don't ask. Why would you ask?
Correct.
Just cook what you. So the point being is that once you add, I had it kind of planned, then you add more to the mix. It yields for a lot of leftovers. But I made way too much stuffing anyway.
How many people?
It didn't look like we put a dent in it. 8, 9, I guess. Some kids and stuff too.
So how much?
But we
How
ate it
much
for
do
3
you
days.
currently have?
Oh, day 3, it's all gone.
So it's gone.
I mean, I stuffed whatever I could before packing up, but we left that house, so I wasn't going to bring. It felt bad, but it's like it's not really wasteful at a certain point. It's just poor planning. That's what I've come to. That's what I take. So, like talking about like freezing the stuffing for something, like no, get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's just time to plan better next year.
Yeah. So ordering parts need to change. I think that's a big learning lesson for me.
Yeah.
One, have your brine together. Have your brine.
If you're gonna brine, you don't
situation.
have to brine. You don't have to brine.
Dude, I
It's
never
not
have.
even the brine. But look, it's not even about having the brine together. It's having a refrigerator where you can store the turkey properly. That's what I mean. It's not even about the brine or the recipe or the bag. It's about like I have nowhere to keep this thing once I'm actually brining it.
So, by the way, excellent bit of advice that I received from a Florida friend named Ryan. He said, "Do what all of us Canadians do that came down here to Florida to call this our new home." I said, "What do Canadians do?" And he said, I have a Yeti. He has the smallest Yeti kind of thing. And he's like, I make the brine 2x solution so that it's stronger. He's like, I put my turkey in, I pour the brine over, then I add ice. And it's insulated. So then now you have a cold brined turkey.
Dude, talk about burying the lead. The best tidbit of the whole podcast comes out in the last 30 seconds of it. That's fantastic. I wouldn't have even thought of that. Oh, maybe I would have, but I wouldn't have thought of it right away. That's amazing.
Hey, listen, sometimes you just need a good Canadian around to help you with your American stuff. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Glad you could join us. And if you got any leftovers, send us some pictures.
Bye-bye.
OverSeasoned podcast was brought to you by OverEasyOffice, outsourced bookkeeping solution.